Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maximo and I'm here checking out Devious Dungeon. This is yet another port from Riddled Games, and this was by a couple of other developers who I've obviously honestly never heard of. Not obviously. Someone might have heard of them, but I haven't. Not that much to see in the options menu, no rebindable controls, but the game's so simple you don't really need them, so let's just hop straight into it. I've been playing this for about an hour at this point. It doesn't actually check how long say how long you've been playing for. But trust me, I've played it for long enough to understand what's going on. So when we load into the game, we're going to be in the castle of the King's Court, which is in the castle, one would assume. And you can go to the shop immediately to buy things that are basically just like straight upgrades, more or less. Like everything here is more or less a straight upgrade from top to bottom. And of course, obviously, you spend money that you get in the actual game in order to actually do that. And I don't have enough money to actually buy anything right now, so we're just going to go straight to the portal, hop in, and start making our way down. There's no story in this game. It's literally bad people done bad things, go into the dungeon and kill them so they stop doing the bad things. It's a procedurally generated platformer a la Rogue Legacy, only nowhere near as good. You've got two controls, jump and attack, and you need to try and make your way through the procedurally generated levels, finding the key to the next level, and then, well, finding the portal and going down to the next level. There are bosses that you get to fight from time to time, but other than that, that's basically it. Your attack button isn't particularly... it isn't too reliant on your personal capability, since the majority of the time you'll be holding it down anyway to do repeated attacks. You can do repeated attacks on the stuff lying on the floor in order to get extra money out of it. And of course, you can also choose whether or not you want to do single attacks in order to try and avoid things like those monsters there. And their annoying as hell attacks. You can hit some projectiles out of the air, but not all of them. The more enemies you kill, the more XP you'll get, and when you level up, you'll get a full health restoration. You'll also get to choose whether or not you want to up your critical chance, your just base strength, or your health. These are also the stats that get higher as you loot. Okay, I leveled up there because I found a secret area. Might as well give myself some more strength. You also level up those stats by buying things like the potions, the armor, the weapons, and all that. You can change your weapon, but the only thing that realistically changes about your weapon is its speed. Well, I mean, obviously it'll do more damage as well, but the only thing that really changes about the weapon is its speed. So, you just swing a little bit slower. And as you saw, there are secrets to find, but they are usually very obvious. And that's pretty much it. You do have the triangle button to look at a map, which is probably a good idea in the grand scheme of things if you need to go and find the portal once you've already found it, or whether you're trying to find the portal and you're like me and you're having a ton of trouble actually finding the damn thing because it seems that the random generation has just been screwing with me today. Because I've done a full loop-de-loop and there has been no thing yet, which really sucks. Game's performance isn't great. You saw that the game became a fair bit less smooth there than it was previously, and yeah, that's a fault of the game. The port isn't fantastic. It spends a lot of time at a lower frame rate than 60 frames a second, and it makes the game It makes the game have a distinct lack of smoothness about it, which is, for a game like this, it shouldn't really be possible for that sort of thing to happen, but, well, it did, and, well, we're paying the price for it. Or should I say, I'm paying the price for it, because I am the one playing it. But yeah, the game's basically just this. It repeats the same basic idea, just loot floors, break objects, kill enemies, do it all again on the next floor. Try not to get bored in the process, because this is honestly an extremely boring game. I found myself not enjoying it that much at all, because really all you need to do is hold the square button on most enemies and slowly step backwards as you do. That's pretty much the one thing you need to do to beat up anything in this game. The only things that are even remotely interesting are the boss fights, and the boss fights aren't that interesting either. They just have a fairly large penchant for damage, and they have a really long health bar. That's basically all that's different about them. And by them, I mean the one that I've fought, because it actually does take a while to get through all the individual levels. Sure, they change up the visual style of everything every few levels, and they introduce a new enemy or two every now and again, but the pattern is basically the same. There's nothing any more interesting than what I've already shown you, at least in all honesty, that I know of. Like, the game might get a bloody massive, huge upgrade in gameplay, like in 2 more levels or something, but if you haven't put that at the beginning of your game, what the hell are you doing? It really looks like you can't make that jump. I was a little bit confused early on in another level I was playing like this too. Yeah, sure, they introduce a new enemy every now and again, and they change the look of the level every now and again, but it really doesn't do enough to stave off the boredom that you would have from playing this, just because it's a really dull and repetitive game. What else is there to say about it? Walk up to enemy, or walk up to random objects sitting in the middle of the hallway or what have you, because you can break all of them as well. Hold the square button until it's gone and then move on. That's basically the entire game in a nutshell. And I don't find this to be worth much, whether that be in money or time, because this game is $7.99. This game was also a mobile port. At least I'm like 99% sure it was a mobile port. And it's just on the Vita, where we've got way better procedural generation driven platformers. For example, Rogue Legacy, which is, like, don't get me wrong, it's not an out-and-out clone, but this is very clearly taking after it, especially with the breakable objects containing money. That is absolutely a Rogue Legacy thing. Like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it feels like a Rogue Legacy thing through and through. And the question is, if you're playing this, why aren't you playing Rogue Legacy instead? Because it's just an outright better game. Rogue Legacy is just an outright better game than this. And I can imagine a lot of games that are outright better than this, but well, I'm here playing this one, and I've wasted about an hour of my life, and hopefully I'll get a decent amount of money to compensate for it via this video's ad revenue, but probably not. Did I miss the key somewhere? I must have missed the key. Where the hell is the key? There's the key. Every few levels, it unlocks a new portal for you, so you don't have to go through the effort of going through all of the levels every now and again, but when you die, it does give you a cumulative bonus, depending on how many floors you made it through, how many dudes you killed, and there was something else as well, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Chances are I'm going to die on the next floor anyway, and when I do, I'll just go fight a boss, and then that'll be the end of this video, because seriously, you've seen everything there is to see at this point. Just the other levels have, what am I thinking of? The other levels have different, styles. Let's grab the stone hammer. And do I have anything that, costs 150 coins? I don't think I do. I do not. I will go through this area as much as I possibly can, but chances are I'm not going to last very long. As you can see, I hit even slower than I normally do here, so it means that I'm going to be spending even more time standing next to things that are lying on the ground or what have you, and just swinging away at them mindlessly until I get my head shut off by that. Yeah, mission's complete. You can probably guess what the missions are. Like, if you hit the start button, it brings this up. You can see your stats, which doesn't show your playtime, annoyingly. And you can also see your quests. And this is what the quests are. do these things and get these monetary rewards. That'll help you get through the game a little bit faster. Let's go and fight a boss. I only have one boss unlocked, but we'll still be able to play it anyway. Here is the Orc Chief. His attack patterns are exactly the same. Like, he'll always do the 3 hits, then he'll bring out the spear, then he'll do the 3 hits again. Yes, this is exactly as dull as it looks. I'm legitimately not sure how you're supposed to dodge the 3 hits. I've kind of just got lucky. But yeah, there you go. That was an example of a boss. You saw literally all the attacks he had. That was a surprisingly quick look at Devious Dungeon. It's not worth the $7.99 they're asking for it. Maybe if it's a couple of bucks and you are really damn bored, but other than that, go play something else. Rogue Legacy doesn't cost that much more than this game does, and it has way more mechanics, combat ferocity, and just general finesse to it than this game does, and I like that game a hell of a lot more than I do this, and I would recommend that wholeheartedly over this one. So there you go. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.